Hey people, what's up? How's it going? I kind of wanted to make a video because it's been a while since I made an update. So, couple things that are new here. I added two new yo-yo loaches to my tank, specifically because the one yo-yo loach that I had, he seemed like pretty restless and kind of depressed, just kind of keeping to himself all the time. So I decided to add the two yo-yo loaches in. I got little baby ones so that there'd be less of a chance that maybe they'll have like a power struggle. And thus far, things are getting along swimmingly. The two yo-yo loaches I added in, they're not really fighting with any of the fish or things of that nature. However, one thing that did happen is that the three yo-yo loaches combined kind of eviscerated the entire snail population in this tank. So, given that my yo-yo loach is getting pretty big, the first one at least, you could see him right there. He's like pretty much doubled in size since I got him. And the smaller ones are also getting bigger too. And this is only a 10 gallon. I decided to kind of have an expansion project. So here is the new tank that I purchased. This is a 20 gallon tall. And as you can see here, it's all set up already. I put a couple of plants in it. The reason that this water looks kind of yellow is because I dosed it with some fertilizers like flourish and iron just to kind of get these plants jump started. Since there's no fish or anything in here, I figured that it's fine to overdose on the ferts. Um, Now the question that you might be wondering is, well, what am I gonna do about this tank? How am I gonna like move all this stuff over to here? And to answer your question, I don't actually plan on moving any of these fish over. I don't plan on moving anything over. In fact, what I'm actually gonna do here is I'm going to connect the two tanks together. And the way that I plan on doing that is I'm gonna get an acrylic pipe, and then I'm gonna get a heat gun, and I'm gonna kind of bend the pipe down to connect with this side, and also bend the pipe down on this way to connect over here, and suck out all the air, and thus there'll be a water flow between the two. And I plan on attaching it up to the top of this tank with maybe some metal housing that I'm gonna get from the hardware store. So right now I've just been kind of shopping around for that acrylic tube. I just put in an order and it's expected to be here in about a week. So yeah, wish me the best of luck. I'm super excited about it actually, and I'm hoping for the best. What I was actually hoping to do, once this whole setup is completed, I want to get one one acrylic tube over on this side, connecting the two so that the fish can kind of pass back and forth. And I also want to get a second, much smaller acrylic tube over here. And since this water level is going to be a little bit higher than this one, I want this, I'm going to create sort of a vacuum that sends water, funnels it down to this tank over here. And while that's happening, since water is being pumped out of this tank into this one, at the same time, the pressure is going to try to equalize, and water is going to get moved in from this tube back into this tank. And this way, the reason I want to do that is because it'll keep the water well circulated, and it'll make water changes a lot easier in my opinion, because all I have to do is target water changes on one tank, probably the bigger one, since since there's a lot less stuff going on over here. And yeah, overall it's essentially going to be like having one tank essentially, because the pressure is going to be shared between the two. The fish are going to be able to travel back and forth, and maybe some of them are going to enjoy staying in one tank more than the other, but we'll see how it goes. Once the whole setup's done, I'll make an update video, at least when the first tube is built. And once the second tube is built, I'll probably make another update as well. The reason I'm not too rushed about that second update is because, I mean, the second tube is because, as you can see, both of these tanks already have their own respective water filters. So while the water quality is not going to be synchronized, it's still not a major issue, in my opinion. So that's the cool thing, is that once they're both connected and pressurized, I only needed water change in one tank. I only need to worry about, dosing or fertilizing in one tank, and then it'll spread over to the other tank automatically, through pressure, through physics. It's amazing. Science! All right then. That's all for now. Toodles.